My camera settings, I need to reload them for some reason. It has the date all wrong and stuff. But
So what does it say? Like
no, I was looking.
500 BC?
No, it was something
Wow.
like 2011 or I don't
Oh, well,
know.
that's.
It
Yeah.
got confused. I think when we got to the
We can look really prescient about COVID, if we're talking about 2011.
yeah, 100 years from now, people will go, "Wow, those people really knew."
Yeah, 10 years before, or 9 years before.
No. No, I'm not putting the date down for these videos. I usually do, but I don't know the date once I'm uploading them. I'm like, sometime in June. Anyway, it's definitely lychee nut season. They're very good.
These are the best I've ever had. As I recall, we got them in Africa, maybe.
And I was buying a brand of eggs just for the cover of the. They did a very good job
The
marketing
packaging.
the packaging. Yeah.
We get so used to reviewing books, we say cover, eh?
Yes, we were.
That's why.
But the eggs I got for James this morning were from the organic section. So they were just the President's Choice.
Oh.
Free run organic.
Oh, well.
So they're this should be a good egg.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Unlike the owner, I wouldn't call him a good egg. Maybe he's not so bad. He tries to project or portray the image of just a regular, ordinary, every multi-millionaire. Where kind of guy who wears check shirts. What's his name? Galen Weston or something?
Well, we could go elsewhere if you want. We'll just
better, I suppose, than patronizing a big box American store.
I just don't want to have to get all suited up to go to 10 little stores or whatever to get what I need.
Yeah, I wonder how much that has affected smaller companies.
Probably has. I mean, I know I'm going to Superstore.
No, you're still suiting up. There's some people who are.
Oh, yeah, people aren't suiting up. You're right. You don't want these. Really? You think you might?
Dogs like lychee nuts, apparently.
Try it on you.
Here, there's a little bit of egg drop there.
Yeah, you'd rather have the egg.
Here. Right-handed.
Anyway.
It's a good dog. Good enough, though.
The other day, well, that was yesterday. A lot has happened. Well, while I'm feeding a baby bird, a lot happens because it's, I mean...
Well, the guy or gal is just growing up so fast. Picking things up.
Learned so much. Like, yesterday James was watching, it was last night, the bird wanted one last feeding, right? Before he went to sleep. And he made it obvious. He decided to climb up the wicker or basket.
Climb out of it,
Climb out of it. And sometimes he'll just sit on the edge, up at the top to say, look, I can go if I want to. And then, but he climbed right out. And he was sitting on the stair banister rail that I have laying on the floor. So he knows it's like a perch, right?
He's perching on the floor.
Yeah. And so he's sitting there, and then so I bring down some food for him. I decided last night I only had so many flies, and frankly I was tired of catching flies. So I caught him a few, like maybe 10 or 12 or something like that. And then I said to James, well, would you want a salmon sandwich? So I tried to feed him some salmon, and he said, yeah, it's okay. But he prefers the flies, like way preferred. So anyway, he did eat some salmon, and that wouldn't be a natural diet, but you know what? I was very tired. And so he was, anyway, when I went back upstairs, like I'd given him a few flies, I think, and then I went back upstairs to catch some more, and then out onto the deck. So it took me a little while, and James said he was watching me go back up, and then
yeah, well, he was going up the stairs, and there was an intervening bag of potatoes in the way. He'd been perched here, so he was craning his neck, and then he came out. See her go up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's quite cute.
Anyway, he's a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. I mean, he gives you a lot of memories, the little guy. And I mean, it's not his fault that his mother decided to build a nest in a place with a hole in the bottom. So I mean, her kids fall out, right? Anyway.
So his sibling
Maybe
paid
she's
the
young.
price,
Yeah.
and he almost did. He was squawking. He was on the ground. A couple of cats in the neighborhood that like frequenting my yard. And there's lots of magpies around. Magpies love little nestling. The one that we saw that pecked it.
Yeah.
Its eye pecked out by magpies was a whole lot bigger than this little fella.
As much as he's a lot of work, I really enjoy having him around, though. He's a lovely
Well,
little
he's
guy.
been the best. I hesitate to call him a pet. But
No.
let's call him a pet. He's been the best behaved pet, I think, that we've
House
had.
guest.
The last half a week or so.
Yeah, he's lovely. So smart. Like, I have never come across a bird that's as smart as him at that age. Like, he's just crazy smart. I wonder, I'm interested to see
what he turns
out to be like. But right now, he's back in the cage at James's house because I want his mom to know he's okay, and I want him to feel
around.
like, so that
there's some sort of a bond maintained. She knows
I'll just keep bringing the food.
Yeah, it's not necessary. We were hoping that she'd feed him, but I think she's a little wary, and it's better for animals to be wary than to be just totally trusted.
Yeah, I can take care of the food thing.
The fly things he just chows down on.
Influences him.
And he will eat crickets, but you basically run out of crickets.
Yeah, I look for them at Superstore. I don't know where they keep them. So, or maybe they were a popular item, or maybe they were an item they tried out and then they weren't popular. I don't know.
I suppose we could have dropped by PetSmart, but it probably wasn't open at that point in time.
He's not really keen on the crickets anyway.
Well, he was for a while.
Well, he'll eat them, but he likes flies.
He likes the flies, which
and if he's
suggests further that he's a fly catcher, but we'll see.
We'll see. But I'm going to look up online with the two bird types that I think he might be one of them. I'm going to look up what all they eat at this time of year and see. I mean, I guess I can just keep giving him flies. He likes them, but they're
chows down. The flies, if they had any sense, they'd be fleeing this neighborhood, not just this yard.
But because the library is open again, so I can go to the library and upload videos and whatever. Look some things up now, but anyway, I don't know how long it'll be open for, because I mean, they've opened everything up.
It's crazy. Oh, the
And
Alberta
so
government.
few people in Canada actually have their vaccinations, like for COVID.
The two
The
vaccinations. Like,
Yeah,
I think in Alberta it might be like 30-35% have the two. Well, the
and
Delta variant apparently of COVID can affect people who
who
only have the one. So
or have both, have
apparently it
both.
can, but fun times.
So anyway,
Just drooling incompetence on the part
well,
of the idiot in
depends what you're
power.
trying
And
to do.
well, exactly right. Like, your theory is that they are intending to do any variety of things with it, and I'm figuring these guys are just drooling
Well,
incompetence.
if you
But
have enough money, you can stay away from
yeah,
public places and stuff like that if you want to, and you can afford better food, so you'll have a better immunity, and you can
like
afford
Donald Trump,
yeah
not
your
just
own
food
private
supplements. He was taking vitamin D.
healthcare professionals of various kinds or whatever
And,
to care for you.
yeah,
So
yeah. Apparently,
it,
Donald Trump, according to Bob Woodward, would have a visit from his doctor once every year. No, not once every month or week, but pretty well every day. So, yeah, nice to be
but
rich.
yeah, so there's this assumption among a lot of aggressive personality types that
Yeah. Either we were calling
if
them
you're
rulers, but we'll call them dictators and
if you're wealthy, you're
propagandists.
somehow superior, or if you're aggressive, you're somehow superior.
Yeah, I think some of the people that framed the Briggs-Meyer thing kind of
Neither are true.
admire the aggressive types. Aggressive types are just parasites. Doesn't matter if they're the dictators or the propagandists.
Um,
Useless.
there's
Well,
this
worse than useless.
assumption that workers can just be replaced. So passive people are um, like workers tend to be, whistle while you work kind of people, or
Anyway, yeah, real workers are hard to replace,
yeah,
and then
they're hard to
the
replace.
passive thinkers, they're irreplaceable.
So,
And that's a big mistake
boy, I'm
that
getting really
the
sticky here.
aggressive people make.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? You can always get another thinker.
Yeah.
Very
They
few of them.
want to import a bunch of new workers from elsewhere because mind if they kill off a few people because they can bring in more. Anyway, I don't know what I was going to talk about. I was probably going to talk about the guy who yesterday morning around 7.
Yeah.
Elvis dog. He tells me someone's out, but anyway.
Yeah.
So I came out. I hear the water running, and I'm like, "Is Marlene?"
Before you heard it, though, like Elvis had heard something, and you'd heard a little bit of rattling.
Well, I did. I was at the window of the kitchen cooking.
That's key for what happens later.
I saw the guy go by.
He was going that way.
Yeah, and he got all the way past, right? And then I come back this way because like I'm cooking and stuff, and I had noticed. So Elvis barks, and I don't want him to bark 7 in the morning. I don't want him to bark anytime really. So I come back, and I hear the water running, and I'm thinking, is my neighbor watering? And why would she be watering? Because it's rained the night before. Like, it rained last night too, but anyway, it rained the night. And it sounds real close.
Yeah.
And then I see this guy, and he's coming with his water bottle. And I yelled at him. Because I saw the water just gushing down, like it's just running along my house, right? He's turned my water on. And this is, like, I had a problem with that right from the start, because the water thing is on the side of the alley.
It's just a step away from the alley.
So 20 years ago, one of the first things that I did is I had a shutoff put in the house for the water, so I could turn that off.
Was smart.
because I'd come
People would
home
leave it on,
and people would leave it on. I'd come home, from work at the end of the day, water's just pouring all over the place, because they wanted to get a drink, but they don't care to turn it off. It's like they'll use my mailbox. So anyway, James, he thought this guy was, he thought he recognized him from back, when was that? Was that 15 years ago?
No.
It wasn't that long?
Well, are we talking about PCC?
Prairie Cody chicken? Yeah.
We'll use that as a, we'll just make up a name.
Anyway, years ago, I'd been
5 years
getting,
ago.
it was more than that.
Okay.
He was, I don't know what his game was, but I can guess. There was a bunch of mail coming to my house, and it used to be I'd get mail every so often. I'd put return to sender, does not live here, or whatever. So I'd get mail for Prairie Cody chicken. And I was, return to sender, whatever. They'll get things sent to my mailbox so that they can come and take it out. And they'll leave the mailbox wide open, So they'll be looking through my mail for their mail, right? Because they're pretending that they're living here. And they leave, they'll just chuck my stuff all over if it's raining, whatever. It's just all over the place. And anyway. So years ago, I was getting his. And I was thinking, I bet you,
A credit card.
Well, I don't remember. Yeah,
there was a credit card application.
Anyway, I was a bit concerned back then.
Yeah.
Because
I was concerned too, and I still am.
Yeah, well, and one day we heard the police along the side of the house there. And that's when James knew, that's who he is, right?
Well, they were saying, "Hey, Prairie!"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so the police, they know these types.
I saw him another time.
They know them by name.
There, he had
and
sports,
so then we knew him.
Yeah,
well, I didn't know him by face or whatever. I just kind of saw his back of his T-shirt from the window, and I didn't. But you saw anyway.
I saw.
And so you saw that this guy yesterday, and you thought, I think that's Prairie Cody chicken.
Yeah.
But it's been a while since you saw him.
Yeah.
But.
Well, see, one time he was coming down there. I think it was a domestic. He was abusing a woman or something like that. That's how the cops ended up there. Okay. And so I noticed he had a sports shirt on, or a sweater or a jersey. Don Cherry doesn't like jersey. That's an American thing for football, but it seemed to be a hockey thing. And it had on the back Cody chicken. So, pretty impressive. So, what an idiot, coming down here and say, hey, check out who's vandalizing you and, using your mailbox and maybe even pooping on your front walk and whatever.
Well, anyway, so yesterday, here he is, he's coming with the bottle and I'm yelling at him, you don't do that, you're pouring water all over, don't stop stealing my water, and he's like, I'm thirsty, and I'm like, well, go to a public place to fill it up, because I know that they leave them on, they leave the water on.
End of the heat wave.
Yeah.
It rained the night
It's not a heat wave anymore.
Yeah, and it's a morning time.
Anyway.
It was nice and fresh.
And then I was feeling bad, I was like, I overreacted, whatever, and
as he's partying,
he's filling it, and he's like, "Oh, put the hose back on," He's like, "Jeez."
Oh, he was awful. Like what I said. He said it was a semi-apology. He never really apologized. If I ever got caught in a bad situation, I had to drink someone's water, and someone caught me, I'd be apologizing from now until eternity, kind of like. But I said, it's okay, buddy. Take care.
Yeah.
And how did he take care?
I was going out, and I noticed he took my hand cart. I had a little hand cart. It's like a platform cart with anyway.
Big. On wheels.
Because it's the right size to put a peat bale on. So I was going to show you guys, well, you could put this wherever you want. If you have, say you want to put a garden on your driveway while you're away at work, you're not using that space, and it's a really sunny space, you could get a bunch of hand carts and park your peat bales and then roll them out of the way so you can move your car back in or whatever. Move the, you know, you can roll them onto the lawn and then roll them in it when you're going away, right? And because, I mean, your driveway doesn't need the sun, and your car doesn't need the spot when your car's not there. But anyway, I can't show you that because he took my dang cart. So anyway.
Now, why was the peat bale with
well,
the
he
cart
took it
there?
off. He took the bale, which would have been heavy.
Yeah.
You know, so he took that off because he didn't want that because that would have been heavy, right?
First time he's worked in his life, you know, moving that peat bale.
And he took the cart.
No,
so
the peat bale.
Then I came in and I'm like, he took my cart, nah. And James is like, well, you want me to go drive and try to get him? And I'm like, you tell him to bring back my cart. And so
he's pretty strong. I got 5 fractured vertebrae.
Yeah,
I couldn't have done anything
and then I thought afterwards, oh, that's ridiculous. I don't want him to confront this guy. And I
I would have been in the cart.
The cart, what is it worth? Like maybe $80 new for one of those? Like.
Hey, yeah, you know, it's the thought that counts. And the deal is, you know, the thing that's really annoying is that cart with a peat bale on it was sitting right in the middle of Pauline's front walk.
So I put it there.
Why was it there? Why was it put there, Pauline?
Because people were pooping and peeing on my front sidewalk, and I thought, okay.
And it's exciting when you go there.
Because if I block it off, then I can move it out of the way when I need to be like moving things back and forth, like groceries or whatever. And then I can just roll it in the way again. And then I don't have to worry about people coming in.
Yeah, and so there it is. You know, good old Prairie Cody chicken found a way to get around that. And now, although the peat bale's still there, so you want to take a poop here, Prairie, ain't going to work out. So, but you owe Pauline a cart. You know, if you can get a new one, that'd be better. And
just return my cart.
But aside from that, unless you don't come back now, you hear?
Yeah.
Unless you're actually bringing a cart, along with a real, sincere apology, which is, I'm sorry it happened.
It will never happen again.
Never happen again.
Yeah. Anyway.
Prairie Cody chicken, what a character. Repeat. I mentioned him to the cops yesterday. Did I tell you there were some cops out in front of our
about the neighboring apartment?
Not immediate neighbors. Yeah, exactly right. Place where there was a murder. When was that? Half a year ago or something like that. So, and the day before, someone who seemed to be hanging around that place pulled a knife on me and just
really? Oh,
yeah, that was the day before. Well, it might have been a little more than 24. I don't want to say it was the night before. You see what I'm saying? But pulled a knife on me and actually was making threatening moves towards me. It wasn't as though they just pulled a knife. You know, they were coming towards me like a knife in the left hand.
Yeah, but it turns out it was somebody different.
It was someone
that
different.
Killed the guy. Anyway, but it is
that got killed, or I don't know about who killed the guy. I don't know if they know who killed the guy.
Oh. Well, what I found interesting at that time is like they were bringing a dog by they were obviously trying to find a weapon or something.
Oh yeah, they they searched looking for it was for a weapon. They told me. They said they were looking for a knife.
I thought the murder was last summer or something.
Something. It might have been a year.
I don't know. I have a hard time.
It seems too fresh to be.
Maybe half a year ago was when they took all 3 dumpsters away.
No, that was hilarious. I don't know what that. I think that was about dope or something like that. At first, I thought it was some.
I think they've been using the dumpsters. They'll hide the drugs in there, like big shipments, and then it'll go to different people. But I don't know. I haven't seen that part of it, but I have seen people with like big Ziploc size, like the large Ziploc size, half filled with pills. I've seen that. They'll grab, they have that, and then they'll go pick up a bicycle that's been put in say
some wild rose
bushes. And yeah, and then they're off.
They're hiding the drugs.
Yeah. They hide the drugs
saw a guy
in clothing.
This is the
Because
first.
they'll take it out of the clothes and then they'll
rearrange.
Yeah.
But this is the first I saw a guy shooting up in that bus shelter.
Oh, really?
In the middle of the day, it wasn't night.
Well, yeah, it's interesting how much drugs there are in this town, and it's not even they're not even hiding things really anymore. Like people will like put a hoodie, like they'll drape it over their heads so that they can smoke their crack pipe. But I mean, that's got to be dangerous. Why not just, like, you don't want that hoodie to catch fire or something anyway.
Yeah, I did see some guys doing it. This is near the homeless shelter. Like they had a shopping cart and they had a park over. It was in the middle of summertime. No, not middle of summertime, but getting towards it. They had park over it and like a tent over there. Yeah, but this was just like 1.5 blocks away from the mobile supervised overconsumption site. So I don't know why they were taking chances with their life.
Well, yeah, I mean those places, you can say anything like, oh, well, you got to help people. People are dying because of the drugs. Okay, well, get them off the drugs. Because those places don't get them off. They actually, they work for the drug dealers. Really. Yeah. So, and they use public funding so that they can work for drug dealers. If you believe strongly in that,
reach into your own deep pockets.
Yeah.
Because it tends to be, like rich people who believe in it, live in gated communities and whatever. Reach into your deep pockets and fund it yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of reaching into our
with aggressive people, the kind of people who you tell them, stop stealing my water, and they continue to, they go at it and like, I'll put the hose back on.
Oh yeah, he was so.
And
he was
he doesn't stop. He won't stop. He's still gonna steal, and then he's gonna steal more anyway. And
it's not just that. When they leave the water, they're
not. It's not that they're marginalized. They're not marginalized. That's not why they're aggressive assholes. They're aggressive assholes because they're aggressive assholes.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example. I'll be going apologists for this kind. I do want to stress about the water. They're wasting your money on that water, but they're wasting everyone's water when they do that.
Yeah, and well, it's not only that.
So much for sustainability, you know what I'm saying?
It's disproportional taxation. When people are in my neighborhood where there's, like James says, they're even shooting up in the bus shelter now.
That's on
right there.
Someone's property. Right?
From my windows, I've seen all sorts of drug use and all sorts of things, and it's just right out there. And when they're needing some money for their drugs or whatever, or just because they feel like it, they like some practice, it's fun for them taking stuff, they're like, oh, well, why go to the store to buy something when it's all right here? I can walk past these people's yards and just take whatever I want, And the thing is I'm obviously not a wealthy person, yet I am being taxed every time they take something from me. Whereas the people in the gated communities who have more money,
or just off in the suburbs,
or they can say all they want about